Hello and welcome to Garden Chatter, where we connect gardeners, bloggers, and experts so that we can all learn and grow together. I'm excited. This is going to be a fun show. We have Katie Ketelsen on tonight, and we are going to be talking with her about her horticultural journey and also about big bad flower. That's just so fun to say. So Bran's going to explain. Oh, and yeah, we have a giveaway. So Bran, my co-host, can explain how you can join the conversation and enter to win.
Well, thank you, Adam. Hey, Katie, it's good to see you. I just saw her at spring trials a month and a half ago. So this is cool. Anyways, yeah, we have a really fun giveaway going on tonight where our viewers can actually win a flower. And the way you can find out about that is if you follow the hashtag hashtag Garden Chatter on Twitter. Even if you plug it in Google, you'll see it. The best explanation of the giveaway is if you go to connectsharegrow.com, hit the blog, and you'll see all the information on there. What we're asking is that you say hi and ask questions for Katie. And yeah, are we good?
Yeah, just go ahead. You know, if anyone wants to just say hello, you know, and maybe where you're located and a little shout out, that's fine. Right. Or if you have a question as we get going, that would be awesome as well. Well, welcome, Katie. It's nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
So I guess before we dive into Big Bad Flower, we could hear a little bit about, how, you know, have you always been interested in flowers, or how did you get started where you ended up as the brand manager for Big Bad Flower?
So the story starts, my grandparents started a Christmas tree farm. Probably in, I don't know, mid to late 70s, because, you know, they take about 6 to 8 years until you can chop them down. And I think in my teens I started working on the Christmas tree farm, and I would go out and I'd chop the trees. It was old-fashioned. You'd saw that stuff down, and we'd drag it in, and we'd shake it off, you know, and we'd do the wreaths. And eventually, as we got older and we got a good small crew together, Grandpa started doing some small landscaping jobs. Nothing crazy, and he had a little small garden center back home here where in the town of maybe 1,000 people at the time, and we were pulling people from 50, 60 miles an hour for these Christmas trees and landscape projects. That was through my teens. I went to college. I didn't want to be in horticulture. I wasn't interested. I wanted to be a teacher, and I wanted to do sports, you know, live vicariously through the kids kind of thing. And I took about a year at a local college, and I missed it terribly. So I finished out the local college, 2 years there, and I went to Iowa State and majored in landscape design, nursery management. From there, I did landscape design for about 6 or 7 years. I did marketing at that same garden center, and I think about my 8th or 9th year, I went to work for Better Homes and Gardens as their online digital garden editor. I was there for about 2 years and had the opportunity then to work with Big Bad Flower, to where I am today. Big Bad Flower's been around for probably, I want to say, 6 to 7 years now. When I joined the team, they kind of went over under a new branding and tried to add more plants to the product line. They kind of got a fresh face online. Typically, or prior to that, excuse me, they had majored in some parasol Mandevilla and the Cajun Hibiscus. They were the two main plants. More collectors, people would purchase those plants. And like I said, when I came on in November of 2013, no, 14, geez. That's when we had a new image, and we started testing different bigger and badder plants, trying to specialize in something that's unique, special, good performing, but also brought something fun to the garden.
Okay, so we have to go back. We have to go to the Christmas trees. I'm still thinking Christmas trees. So no, the farm is that sounds really cool. Like, so what state is this in?
Okay, it's in Iowa. It's the northern part. We're about an hour south of the Minnesota border.
Okay, so it gets pretty cold up there, right?
It does, yes. Yeah. It does.
Do you live close by to the Christmas tree farm still?
I actually recently moved back home and actually planted a fresh crop of Christmas trees this spring. About a couple weeks ago, I put some new ones in the ground.
That's pretty cool. So like, okay, I'm like all into this Christmas tree thing 'cause I grow a
You know
lot
me?
of trees here. Yeah.
Yep.
So when you plant the trees, like how big are they?
So you can vary on the sizes. This round I got 12 to 15-inch bare root firs. I started with
Oh,
balsam because the fragrance to me is one of my favorites. And then I got some Korean. They have a little silver underlining on the needles.
that's pretty cool. And then so when they plant them, they just put them right out in the soil, right out in the ground.
Yep, I used an auger and dug holes about an inch deep, and then I put the bare root in there, put the dirt back in. We'll let them go. Usually, or I'm hoping that I don't have to water because they're bare root. They should just they should adapt well, but we'll see.
Right.
We've lost some Christmas trees on other farms where it's been too hot. It's been some hot summers, as you know, in
Sure.
Ohio.
Yeah. So then maybe like, 'cause we just planted a whole row of American arborvitae. They're
Okay,
not anything too fancy, but they get the job done, right? And
absolutely.
so we went ahead. We did run a drip line out there just in case it gets dry
Right,
this summer.
you bet.
So yeah. So and they were all bare roots. So this is good. I think I
Yeah,
did it right.
good job, Bren.
Yeah. I think I know during Christmas time, sometimes I feel awkward sharing when I go and get a tree from a tree farmer because some people get a little upset that, oh, you're cutting a tree down. And it's like, well, but I know the farmer who grew it out here and that's what they do. That's what they're for. So it's kind of neat to hear that.
They're replenishing those trees year after year. That's one, a livelihood, but two, also the damage that artificial trees, and I don't mean any disrespect here, but the damage
Sure.
that artificial trees do to the environment is way worse than what you would think chopping a tree down every year would do to the environment.
Right, right. And then even, we have like, you can bring in those, what are those, like tropical pines in containers. I mean, it's just not quite the same thing, but,
Right.
I mean, you can keep it
Nothing's
live
not
that way.
sure.
Those are kind of hard. I mean, it's hard to keep those alive where I live because
The
we have
firs?
dry, yeah, because, you got to keep them indoors and they dry out pretty quick because we use wood to heat our home here. So, it's a
Yes.
challenge. But no, I think it's great to learn from you because, everybody do your own thing, what you enjoy.
Right, you bet.
Katie, how
Okay, sorry,
many?
Adam.
Oh, that's okay. I was going to ask her just how many acres. What is the tree farm, the Christmas tree farm?
How
Or
many acres?
yeah, is it just a smaller operation or is it fairly large?
Actually, my I'm sorry, my grandpa died years ago, and the business probably it just didn't hang on as long as what he had built it up to, and so it was actually all the Scotch pine were bulldozed about 2-3 years ago because they had become unruly, and it was just me moving back home and wanting to reignite that memory that I planted them again. So I only planted 200 this year. I want to grow them more of a natural cut, so it's especially kind of more of a niche market versus the sheared that you would see typically with the Scotch pine and such. But in the heyday, we probably had 8 acres and probably sold
Wow.
800 trees a year, and the majority of
Wow.
those were Scotch pine, a few firs. But that was like, late 90s in its prime.
Very cool.
So,
There's definitely a lot of Christmas tree farms in Western Oregon.
oh,
Oh, yeah.
exactly.
They grow very well.
Yes, you know this very well.
Yeah.
That's good growing out there for Christmas trees.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Um,
It also employs a lot of people too, if you think about it,
Right, absolutely.
Mhm.
yeah. We always go to a U-cut place that's just about 3 miles away, and
That's cool.
sometimes, yeah, it's fun. Go pick out the tree, and it's just like they have hot chocolate and stuff. Um,
It's
well,
an
Lisa,
experience. It's hard to find those experiences.
Lisa, I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
Lisa left a comment here. Houseplant Guru, and she says that she, let's just say, she really dislikes fake trees, and they own a nursery and sell real Christmas trees, and that the plastic factories tend to spew out lots of chemicals into
They
the
do.
so. Yeah.
They do. Good point,
Thank you
Lisa.
for that, Lisa.
I think
Well,
I follow Guru on Instagram too. She's got some good stuff.
yeah. Well, yeah, that sounds like a really great, set of memories, growing up and cutting the Christmas trees. And did you guys ship them much, or were they just local sales?
It was local and it was crazy. I'm not kidding. We would pull from 60 miles away. We were like one of the first farms in the area. Now we probably got about 6 of them over here, but it's good. We started something.
Little niche there. That's awesome. Well,
I don't mean to be rude on my phone, but I'm monitoring the hashtag. And Katie, you gave me extra work to do because you asked people on Facebook what their favorite color flower was. I'm like,
right. Sorry, Bren. Putting you in work, girl.
No, that's awesome. I'm looking for questions. We've got quite a crowd here, though.
Okay. Well,
Sorry.
What about, that's all right. What about jumping back into that big bad flower? So do they grow, I know on the website there's a picture of greenhouses. Do you guys grow most of your plants on site, or you buy from wholesalers? How's that work?
So the background on Big Bad Flower is it's owned by 2 brothers, both in the industry. One is a wholesale grower, so he grows, it's TJ Higgins, he grows all of our crops. Last year we did use Raker & Sons to ship out some of our annuals. This year we grew them in Florida. Big Bad Flower is based in Sarasota, Florida. So, if it's a cool crop, we might have somebody else grow it. We haven't gotten to that position just yet, but everything's shipped out of Florida. It's grown by us, so it's quality right there at our fingertips, making sure it's looking good.
Mm-hmm.
Some Fire Nurseries is a wholesaler. They have been around for years. I can't even tell you how long they've been around. And TJ, owner, is the one that successfully propagated the red Mandevillas, the sun parasol Mandevillas. So he specializes in the sun parasol Mandevillas as well as the Cajun Hibiscus. The other brother, Chris, he's involved, but more he has his own business as well. He works for Hort Americas. It's the LED Phillips lighting, and he also has Urban Ag News. It's a publication, an online publication discussing urban agriculture. So both guys are in the industry. Both guys go to Cultivate. Both guys go to the trade show. They're in the guts of it.
Cool. So how many employees does Big Bad Flower have?
Well, I'm the only full-time employee, and then there's TJ, and then he utilizes a couple employees on site that are also will ship out. We probably have 2 ladies in the office, plus we have a couple growers on site, obviously, but 2 ladies in the office that help implement and take care of the shipping aspects of things.
Cool. Brenda, do you have any big bad questions? Oh, Bren. Oh, we lost Bren for a second. Bren, you're kind of breaking up. Maybe we'll come back to you.
Yeah.
I was a couple answered right away. She's really. You got me.
Gotcha.
Yep. Start over.
Okay. We've had storms moving through here, so it's bear with me. Anyways, you had some great questions on Facebook. Someone had asked about wintering over the hibiscus, the tropical hibiscus. Could you give a couple of tips on that?
Okay, so I should clarify, there's a variety of hibiscus. There's your tropical, there's the Rosa Sharon, there's what we primarily specialize in the Cajun hibiscus. The Cajun ones there's a vast variety of hibiscus in them. What's special about those is the blooms don't last probably more than a couple days, really. If maybe one day you can see the full effect of that bloom. And some of our Cajun hibiscus even change colors within the day from the morning to the evening, so it's kind of fascinating in that respects. You're probably only going to see a bloom or 2 at a time until they get a mature size. And you can bring them inside. I would treat them like a houseplant, so when it gets cooler in the fall, bring them inside like you might your fig trees or your ferns otherwise, and you can overwinter them there. Keep the foliage going, give them direct light, probably, or at least 6 hours of light inside, and you should be able to do well with those. And I say should with an asterisk because I'm not a very good houseplant girl because I forget to water them. I don't have enough light for them, so just don't come back on me if it dies on you.
Right.
But no, we'll help you as best we can. And if you send us pictures or questions along the way, we are absolutely going to help you.
Yeah, that's awesome. And then so somebody else on the Facebook page, they were maybe they're a little confused with what exactly Big Bad Flower is. Do you know what did the name come from?
One of the brothers picked it out, and we try to
Okay.
be kind of sassy. We try to be something a little different than what your mainstream, I shouldn't say mainstream by any means, but, you know, to stand up against White Flower Farm and some of those companies that have been around for years.
Sure.
And I'm sassy. I'm a little rough sometimes, so if you read some of our blog posts, you might see a few swear words. It's quite a different kind of company, but we try to keep it real.
Right. And then you had the person that was kind of confused with the name. I think she had some questions about Joe Pye weed. You don't carry perennials, do you? Do you carry perennials?
We occasionally, last year we had a few perennials out there. What we're trying to do is make sure we've got the basics covered as far as some of our big sellers, making sure it's, I should take a step back. Since we're kind of new and re-entering the market as an online garden center, if you will, we're just making sure that we can maintain our customer service and good plant quality, but still trying to introduce newer plants. For instance, the sundenia and dipladenia, it's a new plant this year, and very few people, if anybody, on the garden center retail side carry this plant.
Well, I have one of yours, and they come very nice. Can you see it? There it is. It's very healthy. I have to find the perfect container for it. I know it likes lots of sun, and I'll get back with that person on Facebook about she's got issues with the Joe Pye weed going crazy. You just gotta dig. You just gotta dig it out and then mulch it, and it'll stop.
You can do that.
Yeah.
So right now you guys don't necessarily have any like hibiscus that are frost tolerant. They all need to be.
Well, actually, they're looking into new varieties of the hibiscus, and I just got that email today. Excuse me, I have to plug my computer in. And I'm not exactly sure what kind of hibiscus we're going to carry. I know we have a Battleship series. That's a newer series that's coming out. I am not too familiar with it just yet. We just got some new information on it. But I would say we're going to specialize more in some of the specialty ones, not necessarily your tropical or Rosa Sharon varieties. And part of that's because you guys can go to your local garden center, and we don't necessarily want to compete with that. We want to give you something that you can't necessarily find anywhere else.
Yeah, that makes sense. I was just looking at the hashtag Garden Chatter on Twitter, and Handy Helen is saying something about singing a song so she doesn't have to put money in the cuss jar because she's trying to join from her phone. So anyway, we hear you. You know, I have to say, don't cuss too much. With iPads and iPhones or smartphones, you can't actually join the conversation or leave questions in the comments that pop up. So just go ahead and tweet out your question with a hashtag Garden Chatter, and we'll see it. Yeah, so yeah, that's funny. So yeah, I noticed on your blog or on the website, Big Bad Flower. This kind of cracked me up. 5 peppers so hot you'll need your own milking cow.
They're hot, guys. They're hot. They're really hot.
Yeah. So that's fun. You know, I can see you just having fun, a little bit sassy. There's a great image of like a milk cow and.
So Handy Helen was curious what your favorite combo to grow with hibiscus would be.
With the Cajuns, so they're so special, they kind of just stand on their own, if you will. But obviously something to grow at the base and probably a trailer or just kind of a soft filler. So your Cajun hibiscus are going to be, they're going to be the thriller. You're going to need a filler and a spiller to complement those. Yeah, like Creeping Jenny would be a good one, I think. I love Creeping Jenny. Chartreuse color pops against any other flower that you're putting it with. And then a soft, maybe Euphorbia would be a good soft one to put in with it. Handy Helen, quit asking those good questions.
I love it. She's a hoot on Twitter.
Good stuff.
All right. Well, I have to ask Katie, what's actually your favorite flower that Big Bad Flower has there? What are some of your favorites?
That's like asking somebody which kid's their favorite, Adam. Seriously.
Okay, I know. Get you in trouble.
Okay. Here's my favorite plant. It's the Stars and Stripes Mandevilla, and it's my favorite because it has the two-tone. It's red, and it has that soft white swirl through the petals. I'll see if I can pull a link up for it real quick, but yeah, that's one of my favorite.
Yeah, I don't see those in the garden center, so you guys are right on. I like how you do that.
Mm-hmm. Their favorite. Of course, another good favorite is the Garden Crimson Mandevilla because it's the first bedding container, or excuse me, hanging basket one.
Mm-hmm.
That's always a good one. And what's so awesome about the Mandevilla, if you leave them be, put them in the hot heat, they're going to bloom and flourish more than you pampering them and giving them a lot of water. So it's perfect for the gardener that forgets to water their plants, like I do sometimes, and just lets them do their thing.
That happens. So it is better in a container or hanging. So I should hang this.
The Garden Crimson, yep, that we sent you. Yes, Bren, that's better in a container.
Okay.
You can put it in the bed if you want, but it's fun in a container.
Nice. I'll Instagram a photo.
You better.
So, are we, Katie? We're giving away a Sundenia dipladenia. Is that right?
Sundenia, yes. It's similar to the Mandevillas, but they've got larger 3 to 5 inch blooms. It's a new variety this year, and like I said, I think garden centers will maybe carry it next year. It's something that the Big Bad Boss himself is growing, and I believe he might be the only one growing it right now, or he might be starter plants for other people to finish. So it's really cool. There's 3 colors. There's a coral, which I think is fabulous. Coral is one of my favorite colors, and you don't see it very often in the garden. And then, of course, there's a red, and then there's a white. Probably going to bush out a little bit, maybe get 2 to 3 foot tall and wide. Again, one of those good plants you can put in the garden. You don't have to water it. Just let it do its thing, and it'll be just fine. You might want to help train it go upright a little bit, but other than that, it's going to be a good thriller.
Okay.
Great. Well, I see that we have a few viewers, but I haven't seen too many comments. So I wonder if anyone that's watching wants to click right on the screen and then click that 3x3 grid up at the top. Then they can get the Q&A and just give us a little shout out. Hey, there's Giovanna. Say that 3 times fast, she says. What's the thing? So I literally have a hat. I won't put it on because there's a couple names in here. And so I'm trying to get names in the hat so we can do our little drawing at the end for the...
Good.
Yeah. So I'm going to pop Giovanna's name in there.
I'm going to look to see what kind of questions everybody else has. Oh, of course, Handy Helen likes all sorts of colors.
She's got a cool garden.
She's a fireball.
Let's see. Lots of comments are excited about tonight, but I'm not seeing any questions.
So, Katie, you do the blog there at Big Bad Flower, correct? Have you been doing that like pretty much the last couple years that you've been working there, or?
Yeah. Yep. Most of that's my stuff. I think most of it is. Yep.
Very good.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm trying to pull up some of my favorite posts here, but we just try to do something different in the garden here. We're trying.
So, and Helen says empty cuss jar. She has empty cuss jar. She figured it out, so I'm glad. That's awesome. So you're not down in Florida, is that right, Katie? You're up in Iowa.
I am in Iowa. Yes, I've been in Iowa all my life. Whew.
Yeah, so you're able to do all the work you need to do from just online up there, I guess.
Yep, I check in with the boss here and there, and we work well through email. I go down probably a couple times a year just to check in with the staff and regroup and refocus for the next year. So or I'll see him at spring trials or something too.
So you do the blog, and then what are some of the other things you do?
Just managing some of the marketing programs and trying to bring collections online. So I'm trying to work towards plants and products that might sell an experience. We've kind of tiptoed into that this year with selling seeds for cilantro and some of the other seeds for maybe a happy hour or a cocktail garden. So we're trying to bring in more of a collection, more purposeful plants and products versus just having the big and bad plants, if you will.
Let's see. Lisa had asked that she might have missed it, but what is different about the new sundenia? Is that right?
Sundenia? Yep, it's the blooms. Because of their large size, that's what's so new about them. About a dipladenia. Sundenia is the trademark name.
Okay, so just larger blooms.
Yep.
Cool.
So we've got somebody on Twitter, Alina Will. She's up in the Seattle area. She's asking, hello, is this a time for flowers on Garden Chatter?
Yes.
Well, yes, it is. So bring your flower questions or comments right on in, and we'd love to hear from you.
Yeah.
Let's see.
Oh, gosh, jar, handy Helen.
I know that. But I guess it's empty. Oh.
That's good. Ooh. Can up some strawberries.
Oh, Bren, where you at?
Breaking up, Bren. We lost her for a second, but she'll be back.
It must be really rocky over there.
Yeah, I know she's got some storms moving through and stuff. So
we're finally getting some rain. Well, it's coming across. I think you guys got it first, didn't you, Katie?
Yeah, we did, and then we're supposed to get it tomorrow. It's gonna be hot, and then we get it for the rest of the week. It's coming.
Yeah.
Let's see. So, do you have any like any kind of say or input on getting like the new varieties at Big Bad Flower, or is that you're not part of your job, I guess?
No, it is. I think TJ and I kind of tag team on that. So I went to spring trials this year. I went last year as well and kind of bopped around. I got to see all the breeders this year, and there's some really cool things. Some of the plants that are kind of in my eye, Scabiosa is really coming and making a name for it this next year. I can't remember the breeder, but there's some black varieties of Scabiosa that are coming out. I think it's kind of that black purple color, and I think that's really striking in the garden. Plus, they're larger. I like the larger blooms on them, and you can't go wrong with the Scabiosa, really. Something else, Ball Hort had Dianthus, and forgive me, I forget the general name of it. Not the low grower, but the up one. It's called Jolt, and it's huge. The blooms on those are huge, and it's going to take the heat. And I'm right now, obviously, it's big flower, so I'm into the big blooms. But just having a big Dianthus that you can maybe use for cut flowers or just a statement in the garden, I'm kind of giddy about. I'm always going to love Gerberas. Those guys have always some good Gerberas. What I thought was interesting this year was more of a softer hue to some of the Gerberas that caught my eye, kind of that white but maybe faded kind of vintage look I thought was neat. Marigolds are making a comeback. I mean, I'm sure there's some people that never left, you know, they were always on the train with marigolds, but they're really coming back. There's some fun ones, some larger varieties, some really cool two-tone colors to them. That was exciting. Gosh, I'm trying to remember what else that I fell in love with out there. It's hard to just remember all of that. HGTV has a really cool Stacy's that they brought out. That lamb's ear is beautiful. That striking silver foliage. I think they tiptoed out with that last year and then full-blown this year. What? Oh, I was trying to remember who has this. Walter's Garden has a Monarda. Monarda is one of my favorites. And they have a new variety, 2 colors, I believe, that's supposed to bloom 2 weeks earlier than the rest of them. So that was interesting.
What do you see any trends going on with, you know, like your customer base? Is it a wide range of different age brackets, or do you see a lot more younger generation people buying annuals?
Well, I haven't specifically asked them their age, Bren. That would be
really... I guess you're right. I guess there's no way of monitoring that.
Hey, how old are you? Are you old enough to buy this?
I was thinking like 'cause social media. I can tell. You know, you can tell. Okay, that was a bad question.
No, you're fine, friend. I can give you an answer. An interesting answer. We probably have a mix of maybe 50-50 to males and females purchasing from us, which I think is interesting.
Yeah.
Typically, you would see the women. Obviously, I think the women are buying more of the Mandevilla. We're getting more men that are interested in the Cajun Hibiscus. We're getting collectors that way. I would, if I was a betting person, we're probably at probably the late 40s to early 60s kind of age bracket right now. But what my focus is try to get more into the lifestyle gardeners, people that, yes, they want a good plant, but they want something that looks pretty and something cool that their neighbors don't have, you know, keeping up with the Joneses kind of mentality.
Sure.
So that's where I'm trying to bring an extra focus to, in addition to servicing the collectors.
Well, Beth Billstrom had a question that she posted on here. Is there a special fertilizer that you would recommend?
That's a loaded question, Beth. I don't fertilize my plants. I make them work for their stuff. So if they can't cut it in my garden, then I'm probably not, you know, not going to mess around with them. The plants that we offer are pretty easygoing. Obviously, if you're going to bring them inside, overwinter them inside, like your Cajun Hibiscus or the Mandevilla, to let them go dormant and then bring them back out, you might want to give them an extra boost in the spring. Your Cajun Hibiscus, probably just a general houseplant fertilizer would work well, maybe every 2 to 3 weeks, just based on what their expectations are, or the instructions are on the fertilizer. I'm really not a big proponent of a lot of fertilizer. Just kind of let it go, let it grow on its own. Of course, I'm in Iowa, so we probably have really good soil here. Don't use that against me, but that's probably part of the reason why we don't fertilize.
Yeah. Let's see, and then Giovanna had asked, Googled it, it's a pretty plant. Do you grow other things besides hibiscus, the sundenia? I keep pronouncing it wrong, and Christmas trees. I'm not sure what she Googled, though. I don't know what that reference was, too.
Well, I should clarify, Big Bad Flower doesn't sell or grow Christmas trees. That's something that I do myself. It's passion of my own. Was it on Twitter, Adam? I can double check to see what she'd said, or can you read it again?
Oh, she said, Googled it. It's a pretty plant. Do you grow other things besides hibiscus, sundenia?
Oh, I see. Okay. Yeah, we have a few other plants. We used to sell some more of a tropicals or some succulents. We kind of rotate those through, just kind of thinking more of a boutique style of a garden center. We have the bouganinvillea that we talked about, or maybe we haven't discussed that just yet. Those do well in the southern regions. We have the bouganinvillea that's more of a dwarf variety. That's a slower grower, because some of those bouganinvillea can really grow crazy. The Rosa Roses are nice. They are hardy. I believe it's to zone 6. Trying to double check on that. And they're more of a dwarf a dwarf shrub rose. Very heat tolerant. The red rose, the red Sun Rosa rose, is one that down in Texas was trialed. I'm forgetting the name now of that trial garden. Adam, you probably know, or Bren, you probably know. The big trial garden. Oh gosh, any which way, it got high marks, the red variety, for its heat tolerance and to push those blooms repeatedly through the season and not have any disease or foliage problems. The pink and the yellow varieties of the Sun Rosa have a sweet fragrance to them, and then there's 2 new varieties that are coming out next year, I believe, in that same line that are going to have the fragrance as well. So it's always nice to have a sweet, non-overwhelming fragrance in the garden on a low-maintenance plant. So those are some of our top sellers that I would say.
We've got Catherine on Garden Chatter. She's showed a really great photo of a bee. Wondering if we can identify. I don't know if you can see the Twitter stream. Very important nectar-bearing honeybee shrub. It's a shrub. I don't know if you could see that picture. If you can't, do you have any flowers or perennials that you would recommend that would encourage pollinators?
I am not familiar with that plant. It would help me if I knew where. Well, let me see where she lives.
Yeah.
I believe she's up in the northwest.
Portland.
Yeah, Portland.
That's a great photo.
Fun stuff. That is a great photo. I have no idea what that. Wait a minute. Well, I see hollies there. Or is
Yeah.
that boxwood?
Look at the little blooms on it, though. Wow. It's cool.
It does look a little bit like boxwood, but it's hard to.
It's not.
Oh.
They wouldn't have the blooms like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Great question, Catherine. I am sorry I can't help you. I know Shauna Coronado is working on a project for honeybees, and she's using some of our sun parasol mandevillas to fuel that movement. I think obviously the sun Rosa Roses are going to be fragrant, and they're going to attract the bees. We don't have any big ones that you'd say, yes, you have to plant this, like Leonarda or any of those that are really fragrant.
Right.
Well, let's see. Just thinking about our plant giveaway just for a moment. So far, I have Helen, Beth, Giovanna, Catherine, Lisa, and Elena Will. Is there any names I should add to that, or if anyone wants to give us a shout out, I will add your name.
Carrots.
Handy, Helen. Where would you plant Scabiosa? Everywhere, Handy. I mean, come on. And then let me try to.
Yeah. Buy more plants.
Do I bring them in for winter? Yes, if I was a good gardener, Helen, I would totally bring those plants in for the winter, but I forget to water that stuff, and I don't have really good light for them either.
Right.
Great question, though.
All right. Well, we probably wrap it up here pretty quick. Yeah. Well, why don't I go ahead and, unless someone can give a quick shout out and let themselves be known, I have, I believe that was that 7 or 6 names in here that I'm toss around in this leather hat, and I'm pulling out one.
Like the hat. Where'd you find that?
I think it's kind of a costume hat that we. And, looks like I got Catherine. I don't know if you can see that.
Oh, Catherine, of course, with the bee question, right?
With the bee question, yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Well, congratulations, Catherine. I think probably do pretty well.
Well, that will
in.
just encourage us. That will encourage us to find out what that plant is. I know we'll probably have it identified by the end of the night, I'm sure.
I'm sure.
Yeah.
Honeybee shrub. That's cool. That's a great picture, though, Catherine. Wow.
Lisa, Houseplant Guru, is saying sky pencil holly.
Oh, see, yeah, I wondered if it was holly. Yeah, but I didn't think. Good job, because I wasn't sure if holly had blooms, because you can't really grow that here in Iowa.
All right. That might be it then. All right. Well, Katie, it's been so fun talking with you and meeting you. And hearing about Big Bad Flower, it seems like it's a fun brand. I'm gonna check out your blog and see what you're up to. I have to say, I had to click through the 5 peppers so hot you'll need a milk cow. I was like, okay.
I mean, how old are peppers? You have to have
awesome.
milk, right?
Yeah.
Water doesn't cut it.
Yeah.
Well, thanks for having us, guys. I appreciate it, and thanks for having Big Bad Flower participate. It's always good to get in with the garden chatter.
Yeah. And where can, let's see, we can follow you on Twitter. What's your Twitter handle?
Big Bad Flower is our Twitter handle. You don't want to follow me. I'm not fun.
Big Bad Flower.
And of course, we're on Facebook and Instagram and Pinterest as well.
All right. Very good. Well, thank you. I guess we'll go ahead and wrap it up with that.
All right. Thanks, guys.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.